the actual cost of staying hot as fuck at 48 with the confidence of a man who has never one time questioned whether or not he belongs in a room. Someone looked at me and decided that I must be decorative, not operational. Turns out I've spent over $1.3 million. I spent so long trying to prove that I was more than a pretty face that I forgot. Have you ever spent a crazy amount of time trying to prove your worth to people who were never going to see it anyway? I did for close to 40 years. And this week, I finally quit. So let me tell you what happened. Hi, friend. I'm Cynthia Garcia, and this is I'd Like to Thank Myself. I sounded so official. I'm very official today. So I got to tell you this. This week, I made a big decision. I've been sitting with it for a really long time, and I have to tell you about it. And I also want to tell you why. I mean, this goes so far back, but before I get into it, I need to tell you about Larry King. I know. Yep, that Larry King, him. So let me take you back. I am at this party in the Hollywood Hills. Beautiful estate. I'm walking around, I'm mixing and mingling, living my best life, trying to look hot and smart, which, it's a constant balancing act. I had walked the red carpet, took the photos, the whole thing, right? Like I'm in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, a good night. And the person who we were celebrating, he knew Larry King personally. So I'm walking by and he says something like, I want you to meet my friend Cynthia. Cynthia has built an incredible business. She's thriving. She's on another level. He's gassing me up, which I appreciate. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Larry looks at me and I don't know, should I call him Mr. King? Is that a thing? I don't know. Like what's the protocol? It feels so weird to call him Larry, like we're hanging out drinking a beer. I don't know what to call him. Mr. King? Fuck it, whatever. Anyways, you know who he is. I don't know the protocol when someone's 182 years old. I don't know. I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but okay. Anyways, move on, Cynthia. Larry says to me, well, hi, sweetheart. It's nice to meet you. Okay. So, sweetheart. Okay, fine. It's fine, right? We're at a party. I'm being gracious. He's, him. And so I let it go. And then he says to me, that's wonderful about your business. Who runs it for you? What? So I said, nice to meet you too. I do. I run it. I built it from scratch. It's me. And then with the confidence of a man who has never one time questioned whether or not he belongs in a room, Larry King, I'm going with the full name, Larry King says, no. I mean, who runs the business side of things for you? Now, I must have had that look on my face because at this point, the guy who introduced us jumps in and he goes, no, it's all her. Larry, she's doing it. She built the whole thing. Larry could not get his head around it, could not compute. He's standing there just glitching, right? Like his brain was buffering, which honestly, at his age, everything was probably buffering. I know. I'm going straight to hell. It's okay. Judge me. Still, I was so triggered in that moment. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have never wanted to push a man over so badly as I did that day, right? And I'm not trying to resort to violence unless I have to. But in that moment, it took everything in me. Now, I know you're probably like, why? Why, Cynthia? Like, why did you care? Like, why didn't you just let it go? I'm so glad you asked. So for that answer, we got to go way back, way back. If we are just meeting me and you, I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, right? Up in this holler, as they called it then. And I don't mean like rustic chic Appalachian. I mean no running water in my house, bathing in a creek, outhouse in the backyard, Appalachia. My family of 4 lived on $13,000 a year. We got food stamps, government cheese, the whole thing. And when I wanted makeup or skincare, which by the way, I wanted desperately, I would dumpster dive. Luckily, they were close to us. So anyways, when I tell you that that's where I came from and people have always assumed I'm dumb, just not smart, I want you to understand the full picture because, maybe it was the blonde hair, maybe it was the accent, maybe it was the poverty, maybe it was everything. But for me, the message was really clear from a very young age. Girls who care about being pretty aren't the smart ones. And you have to pick a lane. Like, this dates back as far as I can remember. And the truth underneath all of that for me was I just wanted to be valuable to someone. I just wanted to be seen and to matter. I wanted to feel like I had something to offer to the world, because for a long time growing up the way I didn't believe that about myself. So again, the story has always been pick looking good or pick being rich, right? And respected, but you can't do them both. But I did anyway, right? Because obviously I've never done a thing in my life that I was told to, which is probably a character flaw and a superpower at the same time, depending on the day and how much caffeine I've had. I don't know. Anyways, you get it. I decided that I would do them both. I was going to prove everyone wrong. I was going to prove to them that I wasn't worthless, which is what I'd been called a lot. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't a dumb blonde. I was going to show them. So I built businesses, real businesses, contrary to Larry's belief. And we're back to calling him Larry. I built multiple 8-figure companies from absolutely nothing. I created an accredited nutrition school. I became a certified clinical nutritionist. I wrote programs that sold over 1 million copies, a book that sold over 1 million copies, 2 books actually. I was on Dr. Phil, Good Morning America, The Today Show. You get it, right? Like, worked with a ton of celebrities, the whole thing. I did all of that shit. And none of that fell out of the sky. I built every single bit of it with my own 2 paws, starting from a place where I didn't even have a bathroom. So when someone looks at me and asks, who runs my businesses for me, you can understand why I might want to commit a small, tasteful crime, right? Can you understand? I don't know if they understand. Okay. So the thing was, it wasn't just Larry. This has been my whole life. That wasn't a one-time thing. That wasn't just Larry being Larry. That was a pattern that had been playing out my entire adult life. Now, never with a woman, by the way. I know that sounds shitty and you're like, oh, the gender, fucking whatever. It's the truth. I've never, ever had a woman ask me who runs my business. Whatever. Say whatever you want. It's fine. This has always been men for me, always. In one of my first corporate jobs, I was sexually harassed every single day. Didn't matter what I wore, not that that should fucking matter anyway, by the way, or what I did, no matter like how hard I worked, no matter what kind of results I got, and I got amazing results. They saw the outside package, and that was the whole story. And I'm not complaining. Listen, if I look good, look at me. I look good, so people look at me. Let's not be ridiculous. That's not the point. The point is, why would you underestimate somebody? Why would you make a judgment based on what they look like on their outside alone? I don't know. See, I don't make the rules. I'm just here trying to play the game. But I did have a chip on my shoulder. I needed to prove myself. I needed to prove that I wasn't just some, cute blonde girl from the mountains who got lucky. And that needing to prove something drove me for a really long time. I mean, on the one hand, it drove me to create really successful businesses. So it wasn't at all bad, right? Not at all. And I'm not saying it was. But it was really heavy. It was heavy carrying this big ass chip on my shoulder all the time. And then somebody asked me a question that I couldn't and wouldn't have asked myself. So I had this massage therapist named Mary, beautiful woman. She used to come to my house, just incredible. And she was also basically my therapist because what is a massage appointment if not a therapy session with better lighting and someone working on your traps, right? So one day I have a massage with her and I come rushing in. I am stressed out of my mind. I'm talking a mile a minute. And this poor woman is just trying to work out a knot in my shoulder. Now, I'm telling her everything that I'm building, what I'm working on, just how crazy everything is. This was years ago. I tell her my goals, my plans, and she's still like, doing her business. And Mary says to me quietly while she's digging into my neck, when will it be enough? And I laughed because the honest answer, this is the honest answer. Do you want to know? I'm going to tell you. The honest answer to when will it finally be enough is never. It'll never, ever be enough. That's just the truth. The math will never math because this isn't about money or success. It was about that moment with Larry and the moments before Larry. And every moment someone looked at me and decided that I must be decorative, not operational. So Mary says to me that day, she says, just look around, look at what you've done. And I did. I heard her, but I also just kept going, right? I just kept going because I couldn't stop. I had something to prove. But you know what really broke me? It was not the Larry Kings of the world. It was not the men at parties who couldn't believe I had a brain, or the men in companies who couldn't believe I had a brain. No, it was the lipstick question. For years, I've been teaching people how to run and grow their business. And I don't mean surface level stuff. I mean deep, strategic, change your entire life through entrepreneurship work. I've put everything I know into helping women build businesses so that, they have choices, so that they can leave situations that don't serve them, and so that they never, ever, ever feel stuck. And I'm really good at doing that. And yeah, I'm saying that out loud because I am really good at it. And if I was bad at it, I would tell you that too. I have plenty of qualities that aren't amazing. We could spend all day on those. But when it comes to business, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so the lipstick. So I'm on a Zoom call one day teaching the most epic stuff. I mean, real strategies, frameworks that actually work, the kind of stuff that could genuinely change someone's financial future. And I am pouring my whole heart into teaching this stuff, right? And I get done and someone says, "That's incredible. Thank you so much. Quick question. What shade is your lipstick?" And I'm sitting there like, Linda, I'm trying to teach you how to change your entire fucking life right now. I'm literally handing you the keys to financial freedom. And you want to know about my lipstick? Yes, I'll tell you what the shade is. It's probably in the refrigerator next to my phone. If you know, you know. But could we maybe circle back to the part where I was explaining how to build a business that makes you a millionaire? No? The lipstick? Okay, cool. Great. It's great. That happened so many times, I lost count. And every single time, that chip that I was carrying around on my shoulder only got heavier, because the message was the same. We see the outside, we don't care about the inside. Now, they weren't saying that to me. That's what Rosemary, my storyteller, was telling me, right? But that's what I believed. So now let's fast forward to this past week. I know, we're getting there. So I've been running my businesses, building Rewritten Beauty from scratch, trying to show up on all the platforms, run ITN, and I hit a wall. Just a wall. Not like I need a spa day kind of wall where it's all cute, but a real one. A real one where you're standing in the kitchen at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday and you can't remember what you walked in for. Again, this happens a lot to me. I don't know. Welcome to perimenopause, where your memory drops faster than your estrogen levels and your phone ends up in the refrigerator on a regular basis. Here we are. Here we are. And I just thought, I'm so tired of doing all the things. I'm running businesses, but I'm also teaching you how to run yours. I'm trying to be a skincare founder. And it just hit me with the energy of a woman whose hormones have completely left the building. I can have it all, but I cannot do it all. Not at the level I demand of myself, and not at the level you deserve. I felt done. I just felt so done. Still didn't know what I walked in the kitchen for, but I knew that I was done. So I sat with it and I went back and forth as one does. And I talked to Zach about it as one does. And I made a decision. Here's what I realized. The market has been telling me something for a while now. And when I say market, I just mean people. People have been telling me for a while how I can best help them. But I was too stubborn and too busy proving myself to listen. And then came the Instagram post, which was also just born out of one of those moments where you're just done. And I talked about the actual cost of staying hot as fuck at 48. And I didn't name products or anything. It was more like just the time it takes, the energy, the other factors like raising a teenager and caring for aging parents, like all of the things, right? And I put this post up and it just blew up. I mean, it really resonated. And that's where I am in my life right now. Maybe that's where you are in your life right now, trying to juggle all of the things. And some days, like you'll be happy if you can just keep 2 of the 15 balls in the air. And so people ask me, like, okay, but what do you actually do to still look good and feel good? And so I was like, do you really want to know? So I made a post about that. Do you really want to know the actual cost? Like what it actually takes to maintain this bitch? And over 1,000 people said yes, like in the comments and my DMs, tagging their friends. And I don't look at that as like engagement. I look at that as my next step. I mean, that's 1,000 women telling me exactly what they want my help with. Meanwhile, I'm over here helping people build their businesses and wondering why the energy feels different. And then I thought about the lipstick question, right? That's been asked so many times. I thought about all those years where people have asked me those types of things, and I just felt frustrated. And for the first time in all those years, I didn't get mad about it. It just clicked. What I realized finally was they weren't dismissing me. They were just telling me what they wanted from me. For years, they've been telling me. I was just too busy being offended to hear it. The lipstick question wasn't the insult, it was the answer. And I didn't even get it. I was too busy trying to prove people wrong, trying to be taken seriously, trying to make people say, oh no, you're smart. Like I wanted people to see all of me, right? And the truth about that chip on my shoulder, I built all those businesses, got all those credentials, proved myself over and over 1,000 times. But the whole time, I was fighting against the one thing about me that people actually connected with the most, which is the way I look and feel, the way I maintain myself, right? The vanity, the fact that I give a shit about how I look and I'm not sorry about it. I don't think we're supposed to say that out loud, right? Something we're just supposed to be quiet and passive about it. But I'm not available to do that any longer. And what I've realized is I spent so long trying to prove that I was more than a pretty face that I forgot to tune in to what I really want and who I really want to be. Listen, I have an amazing beauty company that I want to focus on, but I haven't even gone all in on that because of my own bullshit, right? Because I was so determined to prove myself. I was really scared of losing the identity that I've spent my lifetime building, the one of the successful businesswoman who's smart. See, that's what it was all about. Not Larry King, not Linda, not anyone, but me. It was about me not giving myself permission to be exactly who I've always been. I didn't have to prove that I was valuable by building businesses. I was always valuable just because I was. So where does that leave us, you might ask? Well, I'm so glad you did because I'm done. I'm done teaching business to people. Now, listen, never say never, right? If Harvard Business School calls me and they want me to swing by, will I do it? Yes. I'm not stupid, right? But I'm not going to be spending time on teaching business to entrepreneurs inside these programs and containers like I've been doing. Now, I'm sure I'll still mention business. It's so deeply ingrained in my life. It's who I am. I am a businesswoman. But the teaching and preaching and proving, that's done. It's just done. And I shared this with my audience this week. Undeniable, which is the business program that we're getting ready to launch on March 3rd. We're getting people into that program now. People are signing up and saying, yes, I want to learn how to go from overlooked and being the best kept secret to being the go-to in my industry. I love that. And I'm super excited to work with these women. I'm going to go all in on that. But after that, I'm going to where I can serve you the deepest. I'm going all in on beauty and wellness for women over 40 who motherfucking refuse to fade. the science, the products that actually work, and the ones that don't. I have overpaid so many times for so many things, and I want to tell you about that so that you don't do that too. I want to talk about the procedures, the supplements, the nutrition protocols, the hormone stuff that people aren't talking about because it's not sexy enough for Instagram, but it's the reason you can't sleep and your face looks different and your brain feels like it's been replaced by a bag of cotton balls. Tell the truth. All of it. I want to share all of that. Nothing held back, nothing filtered for women who refuse to become invisible just because they hit a certain number, right? Listen, I even named my serum, our flagship product over at Rewritten, I named it Show the Face Up because that's what I want you to do. I want you to show the face up. I want you to be seen. I want you to absolutely refuse to disappear. And you know what? Again, I'm going to tell you everything. Ask me what shade of lipstick I wear. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you all the shades. I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to tell you so much more. I'm actually building something. I'm just calling it the list. And it's literally every product I use, every procedure I've done, every protocol, every cost. And I'm not holding anything back. I actually sat down over the weekend and started adding up what I've spent since I started this whole look and feel good journey. And I just capped it at like just 20 years ago, right? I just went back 20 years. Turns out I've spent over $1.3 million. Ma'am, is this thing on? Yeah, I spent $1.3 million. I mean, technically it's more than that, but that's where I stopped counting. Fucking I know, okay? I know. I know. I get it. I did this to figure out what actually works. And I don't want you to have to do that. I think you should just be able to ask somebody who already did it, and that someone is me. So that's what the list is. That's what I'm putting together. Everything I know, everything in one place. I'm going to show up here. We're going to have these conversations. I'm going to share what's working. I'm building a community where we can have conversations around that. And it just feels really good. Does it feel scary? Yes, it does. Am I nervous? Yes. Do I know it will work? 100%. But am I still scared? Sure the fuck am. Yes, I am. So anyways, that's the story. That's the decision that I made and why I made it. Now you can see where all this comes from. But I'm curious, like, have you ever been in this position where you're fighting the thing that was actually the answer the whole time? Like, have you ever kept trying to prove something to somebody and then realize the only person you ever needed to prove anything to was yourself? Have you been there? Is it just me? Just me? No. So a toast to us. I'll go first. I'd like to thank myself for not pushing Larry King over at that party. That took real restraint, and I deserve credit for it. I'd like to thank myself for every single time I answered the lipstick question instead of losing my mind, even though I wanted to scream. I'd like to thank myself for putting my phone in the fridge because honestly, at this point, it keeps it cool and it keeps me off Instagram. So maybe perimenopause brain is actually onto something. I'm just saying. I'd like to thank myself for being vain, for caring about how I look when people told me it didn't matter, for pulling makeup out of dumpsters when I was a kid, because even then I knew something about me that the world didn't. I'd like to thank myself for building all of these successful businesses from nothing, not because the numbers matter, but because it means that when some man at a party asks me who runs my businesses, I can look him dead in the face and say, me. I felt that for a second. Okay. I'd like to thank myself for being smart and for just fucking saying that out loud and not apologizing for it, right? And I'd like to thank myself for that girl from the Appalachian Mountains who just wanted to be valuable to someone. She was right. She was always right. The only person she ever needed to prove anything to was herself. So, cheers to who we were, to who we are, and to the icons we're becoming. For that and so much more, I'd like to thank myself. Cheers. Always hits the spot. So if you like this episode and you're here for all of these conversations around what it takes to look great as you're aging and dealing with all the other things life is throwing at you in this stage and phase of life, then I would say subscribe and let's do this all over again. New episodes drop every single week, and I love spending time with you.